Okay, it's
There it
recording. It says
is.
got it.
Now it'll upload to whatever they set up a virtual server for you that you can go in and log in afterwards and get it.
Well, here we are at the training, very first one, and the trainer is not here.
I was about to say, where's the trainer at?
I don't know, but I'm gonna teach the crap out of this class if he doesn't. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you the international tech support number.
Yes. Woohoo!
And ways to communicate with people who don't speak English.
I was about to say, I hope you're teaching us Mandarin, Chinese, and maybe a little bit of Japanese, and then we're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Cedric has joined us, and he told me yesterday and text me in a text message that he would be in 2 other meetings at the same time. So the rock star has arrived
with his iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Yeah.
The only thing you're missing on your name description there is like your social security number.
Y'all gonna get me in trouble.
Brad, what do you have, a slimming filter on, or you've been dieting?
Yeah, I've been eating better.
Oh, well, it's working like crazy.
And a shave.
Wow.
That's the big one, is the shaving.
So,
and you're trying to get serious on us over here. What's going on, Brad? Woo!
I know.
Yeah. You guys wait till I'm down to like 150.
Oh,
you and Josh's heads are the same size.
That'll never happen.
Let me. I'm gonna text the trainer here and find out what's going on.
I was about to say, you want me to call him real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, yeah, sure.
Is Brandon on the call? Because we could slam the river internet again if we really needed to.
This guy right here is like literally right in my view. I'm looking at him on the couch. What's up, Jeremy?
I was trying to make sure you were getting on the call with us. All right. See you.
Hello.
Feedback loop.
Is that on here?
Yeah, I'm on a call.
I'm muted.
Right back.
Oh.
I'll be listening in to y'all, but I got to do a site survey, so I'll be listening.
No, that's good. I mean, we're gonna give it a little bit of time. Ben Moss is the only one who told me that he wasn't gonna do it, but this is completely voluntary. So, you know.
And Ben said he would get the recording too.
Yeah. Ben said he would get the recording, but he had a photo shoot or video shoot with the other Ben today.
There's Brandon.
Yeah.
Jordan said he's getting on now.
Yeah, he's right here with me.
Go. It's a slightly lighter crowd than I had hoped for, but you know, you got to get buy-in a little at a time. I mean, you know, the faces that are here, I expected.
Why does Brandon look like he just got done knocking off a 7-Eleven?
Oh, just to let you in the city.
I'm not feeling the greatest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a head cold. I didn't sleep well last night, and my family's, you know, for some reason, I think we got it when we were skiing or something like that. And it's going through my family. I've had 2 people test, and they're negative. So I don't have a fever or anything. It's just a pain in the butt.
Going from Florida to snow country is probably a little bit of shock to the body.
Yeah.
There was that moment there where he said, I didn't feel well. And I was like, oh, dang, man, I got to make sure he's, you know, good. And then he was like, I think I got it skiing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've been gone for 2 months. I hadn't even barely seen my wife, but for like 2 days. Yeah, Mr. Skiing. No.
All right, here we go.
What's up, Christine Dupree?
Why I did that, I have no idea. That's what happens when you let your wife borrow your computer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll start off just real quick by saying that like it's always been a habit of mine for a number of years. On Tuesdays, I teach myself something. I force myself to learn anything, not audiovisual related always, but I've done that for years. And I mean, it could be 2 paragraphs about anything. I just try to stretch myself. And so I was thinking that there's like, I got kind of caught in a storm the other day where I needed Jordan really bad. He was booked on another gig, and a very important customer, Jonathan Shuttlesworth's wall had a power issue, and I couldn't get Jordan. And it was a different. It's not a Novastar card. It's a Linson card, so it's specialized. And anyway, Mike couldn't help me. International Check Support was on Chinese New Year. It was like the perfect storm, and they had to wait like 8 hours or longer for tech support, which is way long. Jordan usually is on there within 15-20 minutes of any call. So I was like, you know, I'm going to use this upcoming Tuesday and have him teach me to do it. Then I had been thinking all along a while back about doing some sort of training to get Josh up to speed and some other people up to speed who have been helping us, who are coming in in the industry from, like, you know, the outside. And JD, there's other people that have asked for to learn some stuff. So I was like, why don't we just start doing this and like let Jordan share his stuff. In a couple of weeks, maybe we'll have Chris share something about DMX or whatever, and we all can like look out for each other, because I don't think we're going to grow the team much bigger than it is right now with regard to River. But we're going to grow outside this and start doing other things. And people are going to have to go on projects sometimes by themselves or be the lead. Like Josh has been lead on jobs, and he barely has any time in the AV industry, which is huge. So he goes in there fearless, but there's some things he doesn't know yet. So, and he's a sponge. So, and you know, Brandon is the same thing. He wants to learn and know. And so I thought the one that's closest to all of us is the 15 million walls that are at the river, and all of us are at the river. And then just about every project that we go on now is usually the door opens with a video wall. So it just seems natural that we should all know how to at least do the basics with the programming software. So as soon as Jordan finishes his call, we'll let him show us something. Everybody cool with that plan or idea? And I'm wide open to suggestions on what to learn all along the way. But every other Tuesday, yeah.
I'm glad we can wait for Jordan a second time, because I don't have anything to do today.
I just want to say that Devin on his, talking about learning something new every Tuesday. Last Tuesday, he actually learned how to tie his shoes for the first time. So I just want to say that I'm proud.
Actually, last Tuesday was fire alarm day. I got new smoke detectors at my house, and they didn't wire the same. I had to read the whole manual, do the whole thing, understand how it works.
Nice.
So audibly, they communicate one to another. Did you know that? They use a 1K frequency. When one goes off, the other one hears it, it starts going off. That's how they communicate. So there you go. You got my last Tuesdays. Because I was trying to figure out how one goes off, because they don't have a comm wire.
It doesn't work that way in our apartment.
Oh yeah.
Because Chris and I at about 5:30 in the morning were woken up the other day by one of our fire alarms going off, and we could not get it to stop. We had to rip the whole thing down, take the battery out and everything. But the other one, there's 2 in there, and the other one didn't do anything. It was just the one that just started.
Meanwhile, the apartment's on fire now.
Yeah.
It's been fixed.
All right, you ready, Jordan?
I am ready.
You should be able to share.
Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all Smart LCT, which is the easiest program to use, in my opinion. Share my screen. Share my screen. Share. Okay. So let's see. Actually, go on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. So that way y'all can see what it looks like when you actually plug into a processor and you don't just see the blank screen.
Just want to say this real quick. I've already downloaded Smart LCT, and there's a version for Mac and version for PC. So, Jordan, you typically use the PC version, right?
Right. Which is great. Smart is good for everybody that's using Mac. If you get stuck in a situation on an install where you need to do advanced settings onto the walls, you can't use your Mac. You have to use a PC for Nova LCT.
Yeah, there's two levels of software, and also, if you were to, we just recently purchased a PC. If we needed to get another one at some point or another to have them flying around for programming or whatever, maybe that's the case. But PC is the basis for both of these that are the best. And if you kind of dig yourself in, you need international tech support. They will only do PC. They literally don't even, I mean, they logged in one time to my Mac and they said, "What's this?"
That was right after they told you to use your brain. Remember?
Yeah. They said, "What's this?" And I said, "It's built down the street from your factory. You don't know what this is."
Hey, Brandon, that's cool that you're taking the video that way. That's helpful.
Yeah, I just figured I'd show what he was doing. So he basically just plugged right into.
Yeah, there's a port on the front and the back. They both work the same way. That way you don't have to, rustle around with the back of the processor.
Nice.
We're gonna have communication issues this morning, aren't we? Yay, it's working. It, like me, has not had coffee yet, so it's taking a minute to boot up. All this, but training.
So you're doing stuff without telling them what you're doing. So you just saved out the what did you just
Yeah,
do?
you just go to, when you're on the processor, when you're plugged into the processor, you click on create online design, and then you name it whatever you want to name it for the project, and you pop up to this screen. When you're plugged into the processor, it will read all the, over here in this section, it'll read all the modules that are plugged in. Right now I'm plugged into the background wall outside at the river, and it's registering the wall having two different receiving cards. So for today's lesson, I'll just select the one it shows you. So if you see the ones that look like squares are 500 by 500 cards. The ones that look like rectangles are 500 by 1,000 cards.
Does everybody understand that? What he just said?
Yep. I don't want to sidebar this, but somebody please remind me before we get off this that I have a question, because I was asked something by a customer I'd never been asked before, and I think I know the answer, but I'm not sure.
You always get the fun questions.
What it really is not hard. It just doesn't. Nobody's ever asked me.
How many panels wide and tall is that? Both? Well, you get the wide, I get the tall. There's two ways that you can build out the wall on the program. You can select it and then drag your frame out like so, or similar to that. You can go up to batch add. After you've done it for a while, you'll have different groups and different wall types already built into your software that you can modify and adjust. You select your wall. Today we're on the Splendor Durham, and we're 7 columns high, 18. See if my brain's working right today. 18.
So that button you hit up in the top centers your work.
Yeah, this button right here centers it.
All right, every button you hit, tell people what you're doing now. You're a programmer, not a teacher. I can tell already.
Yeah, I don't normally teach.
Yeah.
What's
So
the
that
NC
one-
for?
What's the what?
NC.
Not connected.
Oh,
So to connect the wall is very simple. You select your data port, come over to the wall, and draw it out.
As you're cabled, right?
Yeah.
And
You
so,
drag it.
so this was a question of mine when I first did my very first wall. Is that the front of the wall or the back of the wall?
It can be changed. Hold on, let me finish drawing this line. You guys out of my way so I can see. There we go.
It says view right over there on the back
Yes,
view.
it says view. You can select it from front view or back view. 9 times out of 10, when I send out plots, it's going to be in the back view.
So the 1, 2, 3, 4 that you see over here, it's registering the 4 cables that are leaving the processor, right? The Ethernet cables.
What was
And
that
you're-
shortcut you just used to undo? Control Z undo. Okay. You can use the normal Control C for copy, Control V for paste, Control C for undo in the program. Now, what is awesome about Smart is if you look down here, it shows you all your different ports, and it shows you what the load on those ports are. So, for example, this one, I'm going to stay on port 1, and I'm going to go down from row 2 down to 3 and max it out. You cannot send a wall program over 100% on a port.
So just to take that one step further. So how many was that before it maxed out?
36.
36
36.
panels.
Okay, and the 36 is they're 500s, right?
Yep.
So one 500 is 64 pixels and 64 pixels. So 36 times 128. So that one port will do 4,608 pixels. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Or it looks like to go to 90%, just about 90%.
Yeah, right about 89.4%.
Yeah. Okay. Did everybody understand what I was saying there? There's the 4 modules, and one row of modules is 64. The next row of modules is 64. And so that makes up the whole horizontal of a 500 panel. And he's saying he can do 36.
So does that change from processor to processor though?
Yes, it does change from processor to processor.
I figured.
So
So what do you have
VX
there? A 6?
It's a
Yeah, we're on a
6, yeah,
6S here. The my brain just stopped. The UHD Junior Pro, you can do pretty much the whole wall on 2 ports. This whole wall on 2 ports.
Yeah. But the 6 is what we use the most. So,
Yeah,
so that
6
means
is
that
the
you
most
couldn't do 36 panels on the 4 then, or you could.
very probably unlikely. I don't know what the max is.
No, I wouldn't recommend doing 36 panels on a port on the VX4.
All right.
I'll look that up while you're doing, just to know what the maximum load is.
Because those are really the UHD Junior. I very rarely ever put that in a quote
Because they're
unless they ask for it.
expensive.
Yeah, it's like $5,500. You can get like 3 or 4 6s for the same price. The only situation where we would need the UHD is like something like Lakeland, where it's that big of a wall.
Yeah.
And if they're buying that many panels, they probably don't care.
So it says the VX4 will do 2.3 million or 22,048 by 1152 at 60 hertz. So it'll only do 2,048. We were at 4,000 already, something. So it's basically twice.
Yeah.
The width of lateral load can reach 3,840 pixels in maximum, at a maximum. Okay, so it's 3,840 for that one. And then the 4S or the 6S is 3.9 million pixels. 4,009. It says the width max is of the VX6S is 4,096 pixels, but we just proved that to be not true. So I don't know. That might be a missing in I don't know. It's China, you know.
Bear just joined the call, everybody.
Fair.
Hey, Jordan, quick question. It looks like when you first populate that that panel layout, that it by default gives you a cable path. Is that right?
It by default will give you a cable path, but it'll take that one port and try and fill the whole wall with that one port, and it'll never be accurate.
Okay, then I saw you go up and hit disconnect, and that clears it, right? So you can draw what you're doing now.
That is correct.
Got it.
Since we're talking about that, what is the where it says cabinet connection? That's like a pre-selected layout.
Yeah, it's a pre-selected path. Hold on, I'll
All
show
right.
you. You can just select different ones, and it'll change out what it thinks the maximum should be for the processor.
So I bet you what it's choosing right there is co-aligned with what Devin just read for pixels.
Probably. Yeah.
So my question would be, what's the risk we run by doing more than that?
As long as you don't come close to 100% on the port, you're not running any risk.
All right.
Around 10% is usually best.
Because if we run it to like 98%, then are we going to start running into issues?
Now, if you have the capability to do redundant lines, you can run it 100% all day, set up your redundant, and if there's any kind of issue, it'll switch from primary to secondary within a millisecond. Which I wish we had setups for.
So one of the things I do remember about when I was building these on the regular was you could come up with the most wonky, weirdest cable designs that you want that may seem very practical to you for your install, but it's but the factory never ships enough long cables for you to like go horizontal and do something nutty.
Right.
Jump, like they're all designed to do these short jumps, these little 1.5 or 2 foot long cables or
Yeah,
whatever.
they design them so you have to go horizontally, and they only include enough long jumpers so you can do the vertical jumps on the sides.
Yeah. So if we have a job that we know we're going to need to do a lot of vertical related things, when we're like, hey, we need to jump down, we need to do this for whatever reason, cleanliness or ease of install or whatever, that we can order longer cables. That's of no issue whatsoever. It's easy.
Or just have one of your smaller
or
on the
build 'em.
totem pole techs to sit there and make data cables.
Yeah, or build them. Yeah. So anyway,
And depending on how many long jumps you need, it's sometimes easier and faster just to make the cable.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's one big network, and it doesn't really care whether you go from one down to the lowest one. You know, do it columns, vertically, horizontally, whatever. It doesn't. At the
And
end
the
of the day, it'll
panels
make the whole
don't.
picture.
It doesn't matter on the panels whether your in is left or your out is right on the panels themselves. You can go out, in, out on the left, in on the right, and it'll communicate the same as long as the program is correct. The
Yeah.
program says what it's supposed to be.
There is one thing though that Brad and I learned, and I've always been puzzled by it. But if I'm using my phone and this is in portrait mode with a 1000 by 500, we did a job once and we did it all turned this way, and the factory said that it cuts the refresh rate in half on a 1000 by 500, which is 3,840 refresh this way and 1920 if we turn it sideways. Does that even make sense to anybody?
It does not make any sense to me.
How that's possible?
What does flipping the panel do to the refresh rate?
We've been trying to figure that out for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's like a horizontal and vertical refresh rate apparently, and it's changed. It's different. I don't know. I was puzzled by it myself.
But what's crazy is that job, now they're good with their cameras and stuff like that, but it's one of the best looking ones ever. So I don't know.
That wasn't Texas, was it?
No, it was in Richmond.
Oh, of course it was Richmond.
Oh, no, it was both.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did we do that in Calvary?
yeah, they're sideways. But where we found out about it was in Richmond.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, so you keep going, and then what?
And I'm getting wet. You would finish building out your wall. And then when it's all built out, you would hit send up here in the corner. I'm not going to hit the send button because I don't want to jack up the wall here.
Okay.
You would hit send and it would pop up with a dialogue. Would you like to save to hardware? Select yes, so that it saves as you're sending it. And then you'll send again after it's done.
So you're saying that it saves on board of the processor, that
Yep.
that file.
Saves on the processor, correct.
So that's as simple as it is when it's a new wall, start from your new build or whatever, new configuration. So what happens if you have a panel or two in the middle that flip out and are missing the panel file or something, or explain that, how you do the panel file refresh thing?
This is where a PC comes in handy. Going to open up Nova LCT, which is the fun program. Maybe I'm going to open up Nova LCT. No, you lie. Be right back.
Hey, Devin, I did have kind of like a side question.
Yeah.
It's not related to programming, but it's related to kind of installing. Is I know we've talked a little bit about determining like what the oh, I can bring this back up later.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Just determining the power requirements for a video wall, a run of panels, all that kind of stuff. And I know that there's a difference between in-rush, power requirement versus the nominal. But isn't there like a calculation
Yes.
that can be used to determine what the in-rush power is and how many panels can go on one run per circuit and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically they said from the factory, it's 200 watts in rush current for 1,000 by 500.
Okay.
And its nominal operation is 90 watts.
Okay.
And the 500 panels are 100 watts in rush and 65 nominal.
Say that again. The 500 panels are how much?
100
in rush?
watts in rush and
Oh, 100.
and 65 nominal.
Yeah. And so these are the 3.9 panels.
Yeah, right. The Durhams. Yeah.
Yeah. I think where it got a little confusing for me was when we did that KPC install, when we had those bigger panels. It was
Yeah.
was it 5?
Sometimes we ship those larger, like the 960 by 960 or whatever they are. And
Yeah.
we just have to ask the factory because I don't know what power supply they use. So I just know the ones that we do on the regular every day. If we do one that's oddball ahead of time, we just got to field it,
Yeah.
ahead of time. But it's probably written on the power supply anyway. But either way, it's faster just to send Tony a text or email.
Cool.
All right, so when you open up Nova, in order to get to the proper screen configuration, you have to go over to User, Advanced System User Login. The password is admin. After you enter in your password, you'll go to Screen Configuration. Make sure your current operation is your processor that's plugged in today is USB port 004. Next. There we go. So to do what you wanted to do, or if there's a problem in the middle of the wall, you would go to receiving card. You would click down here. See if I can make this any bigger. Nope, doesn't do anything. All right, so you would click on read from receiving card. Your sending card will always be 1, especially if you're plugged into a Novastar, it's always going to be sending card 1. Today we'll pull from port 2 and receiving card 1.
So what is the port 2 thing? What is that? What do you mean you're pulling?
So if you're on, like for this wall, we're using 4 data lines. The ports are your data lines. Data line 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Okay.
And then receiving card is the number in the chain.
So if you had a panel that was out on port 2, that's how you chose port 2, or are you just randomly pulling one?
I'm just I'm just pulling one that I know would be good. So for example, if I know row 2 is good, like we're having a problem on row 1, I pulled off of row 2, which I know is good, so I can then excuse me. After you've pulled it, your screen will flash and all the new data will pop up in this area. Do your best not to change any of those numbers that have just pulled. You would send to receiving, click on send to receiving card, specify card, go over to send by physical address. We had a problem with row 1, so we're going to go sending card 1, port 1, and asterisk on receiving card, which will send to that whole chain. And then after you've typed in all that information, or you can type in the number of the specific card that you want to flash.
Yeah.
Then you would hit send. And it's sent. And your problem should, in theory, go away.
So basically,
Sorry.
it's a panel driver, right?
Yep.
And it's on the receiving card, and sometimes the things that we've experienced that make us do that, number one, it just isn't acting right at all, like it, not responding or doing whatever, or on within that where he said don't touch those numbers, I bet you one of those numbers in there, somewhere in there, has to do with the panel brightness. And so we'll turn a whole row on and all of them will look the same, but one of them will be darker. And by refreshing the panel file, that usually fixes that, right?
Correct.
Jordan, like you grab
That's your-
grab one from one of the bright ones and then refresh that row and they'll all react the same, because something in there is making it stay a little bit cooler than the others.
Correct. And you also want to do that anytime you change out a receiving card. On the off chance that the receiving card you have that came in your spare parts kit has not been programmed by the factory, that way you can make sure it's uniform across the board and your wall looks all the way the same.
So you're pulling the parameters from a different row, and then you're sending that information to that row that's faulting.
Correct.
So with the asterisk, it does the whole row, but if you knew which number, which way are you counting, from the back again or from the front?
You follow your data plot.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Can you show how to pull the information again?
You may start from the beginning or
No, I actually remember the second part. I just want to make sure how to pull the information from the good card again.
read from receiving card. Our good row was row 2. So we start with sending card 1, port number 2, receiving card 1 on the good row, and that'll read it. Hit OK, and it reads the information. Your screen will flash, and then it'll repopulate the information. And
Got
then
it.
send it. You go to send. You can send all to the English. If you wanted to, for time, you could send to the whole wall. But since there's only a problem with the one row, you go to specify, send by physical address, 1, sending card 1, port 1, asterisk on the receiving card to send to that full chain, and hit send.
Got it.
All right, I got one more thing then for you. So what we really should be doing is backing up that panel file on their local machine that they're going to use as a host, as well as in our online portal. So
Correct.
how do I get that panel file out of there to a saved
Save to file.
place?
There's a
What's
button
that?
right next to read to, there's a button right here next to read from receiving card, and it's save to file. And that will save the RCFGX file to the desktop.
Okay, and so when we save that down, how would you, is it pretty easy? I see load from files, so that's how you would get it?
Yep.
Okay.
We're starting to get rained on over here, so I'm gonna disconnect and go to the back to the tent.
So if you have that file saved on the host computer and they swap out a receiving card, that's basically what you pull the file from to flash it.
Correct. You want to pull from the wall, not from that new card. You want to push to the new card, not pull from it.
Right. No, I meant when you do an initial install, you save a file to their host computer,
Yes.
the RCF, that file.
So I do have a quick question. When when you're doing remote support, and I've heard you say that you built a config file and sent it to the customer, what exactly are you doing when you do that? Like, are you building it out in LCT locally here, or are you pulling their config file in?
For when like the installs have gone and Devin's asked for the file.
Yeah.
So what I've you
Yeah, I'm muting.
both of us can't be sitting right here if you're doing that. See if I can get control of my screen because it is all wet. Just need a desktop. So you would do the same as you would to program a wall live. You would do the same thing with one minor difference. On Smart LCT, I'm trying to get to it. My computer is not cooperating. Nope. Go away.
So Nova LCT and Smart LCT, two different programs.
Yep.
One's for programming the wall, the other one's for troubleshooting.
Nova you can program on. If you're not used to programming, Smart is the better option. And only use Nova for the advanced polls.
So if you need to drill down into the receiving card, then you use Nova. Otherwise, if you're just programming a wall from the start, you just, because Smart's kind of like a little GUI based, whatever. Draw the picture, hit the go kind of thing.
Come here, Sickly. I was going to show you over here so you weren't trying to look at your small phone screen.
Hey, all right, I'm gonna ask my question. I was asked if
offline.
You can
Then you would
if you can troubleshoot power supplies in there.
Can I do what? No, you cannot troubleshoot power supplies.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, I've never been asked that before.
The receiving cards that we use don't have that level of monitoring on them.
All right.
There are Novastar cards out there where you can monitor the module temperature, the receiving card temperature, the power supply wattage, but they're really pricey cards.
Yeah.
Hey Jordan,
we had that G2 panel that has the LCD screen on the back that has that that gives you that extra information. I don't know who would be hanging around behind the video wall looking at all the LEDs, all the LCD screens, trying to see what the temperature of. Well, yeah.
We've done that here at the river. All right, I need somebody to sit right here. Let me know when that one flashes. I'll be back. It was a good job for the interns. Somebody had a question?
Hey Jordan.
Oh, there you are.
Can you create an offline design, just like a standard 16:9 wall?
Offline design. The processor, we're going to go with our most common, which is the VX6S.
I would take care of the puppy.
You got that mouse?
I would take good care of the puppy.
Your cabinet selection is in my default group. Splendor. We'll do the big boy because it'll be easier. Where did it just go? No. Not good. The computer's on the fritz.
Is that a kid talking? What is that?
Do 10 columns, 3 rows.
Anyone heard it?
We'll do auto connect and hit OK. There you go. The smart auto connection on the offline design is more accurate than it is on live. The only thing that, sorry guys, my laptop got wet walking back into the tent, so it keeps jumping my screen around.
So
Just to
basically,
clarify, do what?
is this I'm just not sure. It doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't be able to, but just out of curiosity, can you just plug directly into a processor at the shop and drop this file in there and just send them on their way? And when they get there, they plug it in and it works?
As long as they follow the data plot that you send with it, 1000% it'll work.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if it needed to actually find those ports active because it said NC for no connection or whatever.
Nope.
So
Prime example, when I'm working with ACA sending out all their walls, I pre-program all of their processors and give it to the techs with a plot, like follow this to the T and you're not going to have a problem.
Yeah.
The only time that they have a problem is when they think they know better and they do it on their own outside of the plot that was given to them, and there's issues.
Well, we can add that step. That's a pretty easy step to do. And then with this course now, somebody can come behind you and actually touch it up if they needed to, refresh a panel file or something, but at least we would be on our way. Cool.
This software doesn't show like the power runs or anything, right?
No. Power runs are all in your head.
Yeah. I could take this plot and do the power run right on top of it. I usually do a drawing for the power run anyway.
And we should start sending these to our dealers too when we deliver the wall.
Yeah. So is there anything else about either one of those two softwares that is common use stuff? I don't think we need to drill down to anything super
All
advanced
the common we've gone over. If I go too much further into Nova, that will be just enough information for y'all to do things dangerously. And by dangerously, I mean really mess things up. So you're sitting on a tech support with international.
So when you pull down your window on the top left, you have the option of the Splendor, whatever. How did you build those?
Yeah, I built those. So
are you able to share those up with the other guys, or they have to do their own?
Yeah, you can share them.
They're pretty easy to build too, though, because I started doing that when I had to do the KPC wall. So you just create like a default.
Go to new, and if you can see the screen, all you need to know is the basic information: what your pixel count, width by height is, power consumption, pixel pitch, voltage, all of that.
So it does. So it will. This must give you some sort of report based on voltage and weight. Then
it will tell you how much. If you notice on the exports that I've sent you, it will show at the bottom here. I'll pull one up.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
We'll export this wall. I think. Hold on.
Son of a bitch.
Alrighty then.
Who was that? Was that
Who
Chris?
was that?
Yeah,
That was Butters unmuting at the perfect time.
Yep. Don't mind me, y'all.
I told you I should have called your insurance company.
Yeah, you definitely should have, because then you could report how I just got cut off. But whatever. Jerks.
So I see the panel file or the profile of that panel that you're using. The data is not correct other than the pixel count.
What are you talking about?
It said the wattage was 4 or something.
Oh yeah, no, the wattage is not correct.
Yeah. So we can work on that. Josh and I can work on that and actually get you our whole line with all the correct information in there, and then y'all can import them and you'll have it, and it'll be weight and everything. Yeah, that's sick.
Let me do the thing. There it goes.
Yeah, I saw down at the bottom there.
Power consumption. 12,000 watts.
Are you able to change kilograms to pounds?
I have not found that setting yet,
Okay.
but it's just a basic conversion. You got this.
Yeah, I do it every day, believe me. Yes, thank you.
For the weight, I usually just write heavy on there.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Hey, for
Who
the
shows around
where
there?
it shows on that export file where the power is, I'm assuming that's like the max rush power, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's max rush. If I get sick, I'm hitting you. I got
Oh,
it from
cool.
Jeremy last time. It's Jeremy's fault.
I do have a question. A customer calls and says, hey, my wall's not working right, or I'm not getting video or whatever. What are the most common issues that you see when it comes to troubleshooting?
The most common issues that I see are operator error, where they have unplugged something.
Yeah.
If we're being 1,000% honest.
Or like New York, they completely disassembled multiple panels.
I did get her to admit that she has not opened up a single panel since that last time.
That's because I called her. I said, stop touching stuff.
So, so you guys, just so that you know, the process, one of the things that always happens in an install, and it's going to happen, it's going to continue to happen. And just 2 seconds ago, I was on that install, and Jordan from Dr. Andre's job is texting me right now about a service related thing. Every time you're on a job, the customer ends up with your cell phone and they go directly to you. So one of the we're just getting, for lack of a better term, we're getting larger than we were. And the demand for service is going to only grow. And we can't rely on people. We don't pay for any of your phones. If you want to change your phone number because you're, battling with your ex-wife or whatever, that's your choice. And the customer would be affected by that because they think that they have our tech support number when they have that number. So the first thing is, whenever we're installing these jobs, we need to turn over, and you can just go to liveshoweast.com or Splendor LED.com, and those phone numbers that are there have their own answering service. Live Show has a live person answering the phone during regular business hours, and Splendor has the virtual thing, and it immediately goes to me. So a service call, it goes to both Brad and I, but a service call is always going to start with me, and I usually try to field it before I try to worry somebody to death, because Jordan's right, like 99% of the time it's user error. And I like to, when they say
99.9% of the time it is user error.
So there's probably three things, if I were to categorize them better, most common. Number one is I don't know how many times we've installed an iMac, or the customer has an iMac, and we pull a SDI with conversion to HDMI or some version of transport to the wall. We plug it in, everything is golden, and then we leave, and we've realized that they have replaced the output of the iMac with a off-brand name little converter to HDMI that's not Apple. They bought it with something else, and those things never last. They end up sliding out, or they're like, the wall's glitching, it's doing this. And I mean, I've went around with at least 6 customers, round and round and round. And I said, if it will fly there, but if I plug my laptop in and it works perfectly, and because I keep telling you, it's something having to do with your computer, change that converter out. Well, we just bought it, it's brand new. But if it's not,
doesn't matter. Those aftermarket converters suck.
They always glitch, always. So if they're using an Apple product, they need to use the Apple conversion.
Or a decimator.
Yeah. So we have found that to be a case all the time. Also, one of the things that they call about is like, it's oversized or scaled wrong or whatever, and they've gotten in there and touched all the numbers in ProPresenter. They've dug themselves in, and like Nick said from DMB the other day, everybody has to dig themselves in one time and realize all the stuff that you can do with the system and how terrible it can be. And then you'll dig yourself out and you won't go back there. And everyone does that with ProPresent. They try to stretch the limits. They try to do this, do that, whatever. And so it's usually one of those related things. Now, sometimes they call and they say, we see five maroon or like magenta pixels in a row, or there's a pixel out, there's this. So our standard conversation is they have a 3-year warranty. If they want to keep circulating their modules out for a single pixel, that's the customer's prerogative. They can do whatever they want, but it takes a minute for us to get those things back. We like to tell them, as soon as we install it, just wait 90 days and let all the pixels that are going to go out, because some of them might be frail from the trip. So let it go through that 90 days. And then if it turns out that you only have 1 or 2 there, let it get to a year. And then call us or you go through and pull those modules and get those fixed and whatever. It's just unnecessary to do. Matter of fact, I think disturbing an install by constantly changing something for 1 pixel is asking for more problems. Like the job that we did in DC, where we got everything installed, everything was good, and then the customer was worrying about this, that, or the other thing. Josh went behind us and did the metal work on that to firm that job up. But in between me being there and Josh being there, the customer was always worried about other stuff. They had another trade working in there, and the guy dropped what do you call those like pointed things that they put mortar on for like bricks? He had one in his tool belt. He dropped it, it bounced off the scaffolding and hit the wall like 4 times on its way down, busted all kinds of pixels. That's a reason to call us. But I mean, if there's 1 out or 2 out, it's not a reason for them to switch modules out, in my opinion. So I try to stop them when they call and they say they got 1 pixel out or 2 pixels out. I try to give them that conversation and so that we're not worrying tech support. So the most recent one that I kind of spurred this training was Jonathan Shuttlesworth, and we just moved that wall. It's been there for 3 years now, working perfectly. We picked it up from the old location, moved it to the new location. It was working beautifully the whole time I was there. They had one crazy power outage and the whole thing went wiggity whack. And did you end up using a new video processor?
Nope.
So the whole thing was like white. It looked like somebody threw white spaghetti all over the screen. It was like crazy looking. I'd never seen anything like it. And I said, just unplug everything having to do with you and go down there with the laptop, or go to your video processor with a laptop and an HDMI, just plug straight in and see if you can get anything. They couldn't get it. Whatever. And I was like, man, that video wall processor might have taken a hit in that power deal. And instead he went there, plugged straight into it, refreshed the panel file, 5 minutes, they were back up. So it's a computer, and that power, like, yanking the cord out of the wall from the computer, I guess, is the same kind of principle. It whacked out. It got, and it could.
When I pulled the file for the Shuttlesworth wall,
yeah,
it defaulted back to the original configuration from 3 years ago.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So anyway, those are the most common things. Not the Shuttlesworth one, but the messing with resolutions and different output related stuff, and all of that I try to solve before I give it to you guys, because and I have pretty good luck with it. Just because it's not really tech support related, it's user related. And, even though I'm technical some, I'm also the company PR guy. So I can deliver that a little more tactfully than Jordan. Be like, man, y'all need to stop touching on
There's only been one client where I've told them to stop touching things.
I know. I'm just messing with you. I'm just saying.
And Brad turned around a week later and told him the same thing. So,
yeah. Well, I know. I'm just playing.
Yeah, I've done it.
I'm just saying. I try to field those, but it's usually converters, their computer. I mean, all that kind of stuff. So when it is things like that, that 5 or 6 pixels that are magenta colored like that, we learned that that's kind of like a pixels that are sort of didn't show up in the roll call when you're bringing it up, and by turning off the processor a couple times and bringing it back up, those they show up. One pixel out or one or two pixels not connected to each other is more likely to be a bulb than a whole string of them attached. A whole string is very unlikely that they all went out at once. So that's usually a COM thing. It could be a seating on the ribbon cable or something else. But anyway, so but those are the most common things. There's never, I mean, if you think about it, it's not that many parts, right? You got the frame, you got 4 modules, you have a power supply, you have a receiving card, and some interconnectivity cabling. Maybe one of the cabling related things that I see the most is the Ethernet cable goes down and plugs into that through port to go to the outside so you can shut the door. And some of those connectors get funky. I know when we went to West Virginia, we ended up having to get some chemical cleaner because the pins on the inside of those things were just corroded and nasty from being outside. So but that's a little through connector. I don't think you would really have that problem in an install. But again, there's so few parts. It's much more likely that it's and I use this one last thing I'll just tell you real quick is if the whole wall is affected, just use logic. If the whole wall is affected, it can't be a module. It can't be power. It can't be data. Because there's no one wire doing all of that. The only thing that's doing all of that is the video processor forward. So the video processor is the last thing to ever fail.
Let me interject real quick because I have seen this happen. If an entire row is affected, let's say halfway through a data line, the wall, the image on the wall gets all weird and it's flashing. Go to somebody has gone in there and probably replaced a power supply and didn't check the switch to go from 208 to 115. And they're not in their proper power configuration.
Yeah. Does everybody know about that switch?
Yeah. I would say too, one thing I found, this happened a couple times, is the termination of the data cable that's going from the processor to the wall.
Yeah.
Where it's messed up.
Or if somebody has accidentally stepped on a data line coming out of a wall plate behind a wall. Still don't know how that happened out over in Fort Lauderdale, but it did.
Yeah. So most commonly, I think you're just going to see, the indicators are, you look at the back of the wall. If there's no red lights, there's no power. If there's no green lights, there's no data. So if the green lights are not blinking in sync with the other walls, then it's lost its handshake with the processor. All those are like simple little things you can do just visually on the back of the wall. But if the whole wall is affected, the likelihood that it starts at the video processor and moves towards the customer's equipment, and the likelihood that it's a video processor is almost, again, 90% of the time. I really thought we lost our first one with Shuttlesworth. Turns out we didn't. Those things are pretty robust. It's just a little computer. And I always, whenever I've had to troubleshoot these, when we first started and I was doing them, the first thing I would do is just unplug the customer's crap and plug my laptop straight in. I got a 2012 Mac with an HDMI on it. And I had a one photo I would just put up, plug in that HDMI. And if it came up perfect or it came up at all, then I knew it was their stuff and I knew where to start. But I've never found a processor to be smoked. The only one that's ever died that I'm aware of is, Brad, you might be able to tell me. I feel like there might be one, but Brad Howard Brown, we sent him one because his died, but we didn't sell him the one that his died.
Yeah, that was, and there was one. I feel like actually Jonathan, way back in the day, we had to send them one for some reason, but I think it was like a port or something was messed up. Not that it died.
No, yeah, well, but it turned out to not be dead, and they have two now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, those things are solid. And then another thing to try too is just resetting for. All right, so like Devin was at my church a month or so ago, and it actually kind of looked like a cool design, but like the whole left-hand side and then going over the top row was a whole different color from the rest of the panels. But what it was is we had a power surge. Like we leave our wall on all the time, which most churches do. We had a power surge, and so what happened is it was the brightness had gotten reset basically, just on those panels though.
Yeah, Jordan, I think you or Mike, one of us figured that out one time, but like sometimes when they get glitchy, they go back to their default, and I think that's a panel file thing. So if he refreshed the panel file, all of them would be the same color. But the other way to do that, if it's just brightness related, is just to go to the brightness in the processor and move it up or down one direction. It tells all the wall, go to 18% brightness or go to 30% brightness. And then they all kind of, yeah. And they all react properly. But anyway.
The processor and save to the receiving card. And it'll save that brightness and should, in theory, overwrite the default. So if it ever happens to be a power surge, it pops right back up with that proper brightness.
So if I change that brightness, I can save it on the processor to the card.
Yep.
Wow. Well, where do I do that?
Under the VX6S, goes to screen settings, and then you would go into your menu, go to screen settings, hit save to receiving card under screen settings.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Brandon's back.
That almost scares me to do that, but all right. Well, we went over a little, but we started a minute late. So is everybody got a pretty good hold on what we learned today?
Yeah. Good job, Jordan.
Yeah, good job. So what we want to do is offer to you now. Yeah, I think I was pretty clear that this is all voluntary right now. The only person we'll give a wage to is Jordan for teaching today. But if you're interested, over the next week or so, I think Josh will reach out to you. If you want to, we'll give you a couple of little projects to test through to make sure that you're good, and then we can put you in the role as one of the, if you're interested, as one of the tech support people when we get calls. So which is paid. So if you're interested in those opportunities, they're all remote desktop related. The only hitch to get along is it sounds like primarily Jordan recommends that you have a PC. So, that might be tough for some of us. But
robust.
Well, I have Parallels on my Mac, and I've already downloaded the PC programs and used them. So if you have a powerful enough Mac, you can do that too.
Show off.
So anyway, that's the next process. I appreciate everybody stepping up. It's like I said, the faces I saw in here, the ones I expected, the overachievers. We appreciate it. If you just wanted it for your own personal knowledge, or just because you'll be around the river and there's 60 walls here, that's cool too. Again, if you would like to jump in on tech support, just let us know, and we'll get you up to the next level on that. And who wants the next 2 weeks? 2 weeks from now, what would you guys like to learn?
I would like to learn a little bit more about Brad being barefaced and how to look so sexy.
An hour Zoom call is not going to cover that.
I'll go ahead and let you guys have a private Zoom on that one.
You should have seen my mustache.
We have private Zooms, that's for sure.
So Jeremy, people that talk, anybody that's new to it, if there's something that you want to learn, we are going to eventually work the soundscape training into this, because we're going to do a few Zooms with DMB here soon, and then a hands-on.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna be helping out a bit more at my church, volunteering with the sound team and stuff. And so I have a very, very basic level of understanding where it comes to audio stuff, learning a little bit more about lighting. So anything audio related, anything video related, cameras I'm not strong in. So any of that's cool with me.
I think Brian should spearhead a fundamentals class.
Yeah. Chris, you want to do DMX next week? Just talk about, or the week after? Will you, I don't know where you'll be, to not the, in there every other Tuesday. So 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm already on a gig that day. Won't be able to step away, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Well, let me think about it then.
I was gonna say I would like to learn some lighting stuff. Maybe I don't know if that's something for here or not, but maybe some stuff specific to the hog, just because we have 2 of them here. But maybe just some lighting fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely do a hog programming thing at some point. I'd love for you to do a quantum, or Barry to do a quantum, or Devin to do a quantum, somebody to do a quantum. 101 would be great. Like knowing digits that's crucial. That's really, really good to know. So
What was that you just said?
did you copy that? Any better now?
Hey,
Hey, there it is. Okay, let me rephrase. Let's try that again. So I said, yes, a hog programming class would be good. I'd love it if Brian or Devin or Bear taught a quantum fundamentals class. That would be great because digis are showing up a lot more in the field these days. So knowing them would be very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the idea that Jordan said about fundamentals of but long, because that's the most desirable place is just to hop behind the faders, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that makes the faders work. So
100%. Same in lighting. So
yeah. So cool. Well, awesome.
Preset doesn't mean anything.
What's that?
I said just because you can push the preset doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Well, some younger students would disagree, but yeah.
1,000% agree.
All right. Well, I don't want to hold everybody up too much longer. I appreciate the traction on the first one, and we look forward to the future ones. I'll take any input from anybody. Eventually, we got to get Brandon in here talking about some network related things. I'd like him to be on the post side of fixing the Dante network, and then he would have something to teach us. But anyway,
sure.
Don't put anything on the Dante network.
Yeah.
Rule number 1.
Including
And
Dante.
always remember, Dante's default is in unicast.
Yeah. All right.
That question has traumatized Jordan.
Brian's like, let's not talk about this, please. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
Hey,
cheers,
hey,
guys.
Brad, before you jump off, hey Jordan, don't go off real quick. You see that tent that's behind him? The stuff in the tent. There's like nothing. There's nothing. It's basically storage now. We don't have anything that is show related in there anymore, except for a live monitor showing the multi-view. And I don't remember who it was, Jordan or Bear, one of them came up with the idea. We've been talking to Kenneth and he wants to clean up the area. We should just get rid of this tent, put this stuff away primarily, and bring in one of those mini offices that already has an AC on it. They said it's only like $100 or $2 a month, and it would be lockable. We could keep our tools in there, and we could have AC and heat. See that tube that's in the back right corner has this massive like outdoor unit that you used to plug into the generator to keep the place cool, which it kept it cooler, but it didn't keep it cold. But one of those mini office things would be much more secure and probably cooler for on site.
The security detail for that political show that we did had one of those offices, and it was cold. It was middle of summer when we did that show. So
yeah, because that tube back there used to have the big fan in front of it, right?
Yeah.
It's still there.
Oh yeah. Those things are not that expensive.
No, they're real. They are really cheap. But also, I don't know if you can tell from that picture, but if you really look around in there, there's black mold all over that tent. It's been out there for 2 years or longer. It's disgusting. It can't. I think this far right corner, if you turn it towards the
Brandon's
got it.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. It's really nasty.
Yep, that looks about right.
And we have so we have our refrigerator in there, a little bit of food, which Kenneth mentioned 10 years ago they had a rodent problem there and they eradicated it. And that's not the case anymore. And I said I have to take my fair share of the fall for that because we keep trash cans out there and food out there. They're going to find it.
There's a dedicated trash collector that they have that goes around the property 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
And getting him to gather our trash, well, not gather our trash, but take the trash can is been an ongoing fight.
Yeah. And anyway, I just wanted you to see that while you saw that because I think those that little mini office thing would be a good
and you can put
we have
and
10 people out there, so it wouldn't be a great lounge per se, but it would be cool enough for people to chill out because the hot months are getting ready to come. We're going to be dying out there.
Yeah,
it's gonna be brutally hot down here.
Yeah. And then
Chris
hopefully
is like, let's go. I got my kilt ready.
And then I went and looked at that the thing already. I went to the Brandon Commerce Center.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump off here.
Okay. And it looks those things.
I gotta go program my server. Sorry, I gotta jump off as well.
Yeah.
All right, we'll chat. Thanks, guys.
Man. Yeah, we should look into that though. That would be good. It'd be cleaner looking back there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could keep the multi-view. We can rewire anything we want in there, get a multi-view going, security, that kind of stuff. So yeah, very easy to do, and that would be cool. I mean, aren't they going to turn that area into dressing rooms anyway at some point when they do the
Eventually,
stage?
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Hey, Cedric, there's his face.
Hey, just got out of my last meeting.
Awesome. Well, yeah, cool. So cool. Yeah, if I'll take a look at some pricing for that and just see. I mean, we already have that one mobile mini that's here that we've taken over from Joe Getz. I think we just send that one away and combine it all down to one that's a little bit bigger. And so it really wouldn't offset the price very much at all, maybe $100.
Yeah. I think it'd be good.
I mean, the key is it would be lockable because I'm just not convinced that things don't walk away there.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I know I've taken some microphones and some preamps and stuff, but
you punk.
I don't know what you do with them after you got them.
Yeah, eBay. Just don't check my eBay history.
I don't want to know.
He taped them to the bottom heads of his drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, Brad, you strike me as the guy that would just set them all up just to look at them and be like, "Hey, these are cool."
So they're not plugged in or doing anything. They just look.
I have a Pelican case. I have a Pelican case of equipment that absolutely will accomplish nothing together.
Well, it's got like $10,000 worth of equipment and Pelican.
That's not dissimilar to some guys I see on shows. So,
yeah, I carry it with me everywhere. Golden
I was about to say
Corral,
you probably travels with it everywhere, but you never use any of it.
One day somebody's like, anybody got an SM57? I mean, I do. I don't have a cable for it.
But you've got one just to be safe.
All right. Well, that sounds good. And if you guys need anything, just let me know. We're moving right along. We got good news yesterday. We signed a new evangelist. So we're up to whatever 4 or 5 now. We got Shuttlesworth. We got who do we have? The Shuttlesworths. Huh?
Yeah.
Tony Suarez.
This guy.
Stephen, whatever. What's Stephen's last name?
Herbert.
And then this new one. So this is 5. All of them are doing outdoor crusades on the regular.
And this guy's super connected.
Yeah. So if each one of them do a handful of 5 to 6 a year, that's outdoor. That's a busy season for us because when we had 2 and they were doing 10, we were nuts. Like every 3 weeks we were pulling our hair out doing one because they go for multiple days. Of course, as you know, it's not a one-day event. It's usually it's Sunday or Monday through Saturday or Sunday through Friday or whatever. This particular one is April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And this evangelist has 482,000 followers on his Instagram, and he's expecting about between 3,000 and 6,000 people. So it's going to be good, and it's the whole deal: stage line, light, sound, everything, just like we used to do with Festival of Life. So we're very happy that those things are coming back to life, because the last one we did was the Outpouring in Nashville, and at the end of last year. So
Sort of Jonathan shows it wasn't as big, but
yeah, but it feels good to, I mean, we're here so in Tampa, so we do these outdoor things just about daily now, but I love being outside and doing sound anyway. So anyway, those events are really fun, and they're great for the community, and they do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Miracle, go there. So okay, I shall chat with you guys later.
See ya.
Cool. Sounds good, guys. Cheers.
Appreciate you.